got some great news for you Utah Jazz fans. It just keeps getting better for you guys. You guys have a new part owner. His name is Dwyane Wade. Yes, the D Wade, Mario. The D Wade. I get this, right? He's joining majority owner and team governor Ryan Smith, and they both have plans to take an active role with the team. So they're going to be very, very active with acquiring players and all that, which I think is actually a really great idea, especially with the future this team has. Now, I have a quote from D Wade himself, and I quote, "This goes way beyond the dream that I had to just play basketball in the NBA. I've seen Shaq do it in Sacramento. I've seen Grant Hill do it in Atlanta. I've seen Jordan do it in Charlotte. If this partnership is going to be anything that my relationship is with Lion, there are going to be a lot of things that I'll want to be involved in. Unfortunately, people in my community don't get this opportunity. I do not take it lightly to have this opportunity to make real change. This is where you have to be at the top, and Ryan knows that. I'm thankful for him, and I know too that I bring a lot to this partnership outside of just my basketball knowledge and skills." And before I pass on to you now, Mario, the source of this was Adrian Wojnarowski. So you go first, Mario. What do you think of D Wade becoming an owner?
Yeah, well, first, congratulations to Dwyane Wade and the Utah Jazz. I do see a lot of players, they end up taking in ownership roles in certain teams, but they're not active with those teams, But I like how Dwyane Wade wants to be active and is planning on making the Utah Jazz a very, very good team. They're planning to make them better. I do respect that out of Dwyane Wade. And Dwyane Wade, another very intelligent basketball player. He's a very intelligent person, a very great person. So honestly, him joining ownership, it doesn't really shock me. I can see almost everybody who was part of that banana boat. I could see, obviously LeBron got a little bit of ownership in the Red Sox and more teams in general. Carmelo Anthony, I can definitely see him doing it one day. Chris Paul, definitely can see him doing it one day. Chris Bosh, same thing. So it doesn't shock me that Dwyane Wade joined the ownership role. It shocks me as the Utah Jazz because that's very that's kind of a little bit. That was unexpected. I thought it was going to be something more connected to him, but regardless, congratulations to him. I'm glad that he's going to be taking an active role. I'm glad that he's going to be part of the process of what the Utah Jazz does. Now, again, if he is part of TNT's broadcast when they do the players only night. He's part of the broadcasting crew. Now, obviously, Dwyane Wade is obviously a big, he played for the Heat for so long, and that's his favorite team, and it shows it. And I wonder how it's going to be. I wonder if his broadcast approach changes because he owns Utah. I wonder, And then I also wonder, what interests me the most, Nate, is this, okay? One problem in the NBA is, I'm trying to think of the word. It was in my head. I'm trying to think of the word. Sorry, Nate, I'm trying to think. I'll get the word will come out, but basically one problem is when owners talk about certain players or acquiring certain players, they're not supposed to do it, before it happens. They're not supposed to. I think it's tampering, right? I think that might be the word.
Yeah, something like that. I know one of the Mariners one of the Mariners office executives did something like that. I remember we talked about that.
Yeah, I believe tampering's the word. But yeah, that's the one question I'm gonna have is because you own part ownership in the Utah Jazz, a question could come up be like, what do the Utah Jazz need? What do the Utah Jazz need, or what'll get them over the top? And the only thing I'm concerned with is if Dwyane Wade says something, and it could possibly get him fined, because that's the least thing I want to see. I want to see out of Dwyane Wade. But I know this. I know Dwyane Wade is such an intelligent guy, or intelligent man, that he's not going to make that mistake. If that question comes up, I don't expect Dwyane Wade to be like, "Whoa, I expect us to get a big man, a rebounder, or everything like that." If they ask him what the Utah Jazz need to do in this game, yeah, he gives his analysis, and everything like that. But that's the only concern I have is if whatever Dwyane Wade says, if he says the wrong thing, I wonder if they're going to get him for tampering. That's the only concern I have right there. But I think Dwyane Wade is a smart man, and I think he'll know, look, I got to be careful with what I say about this team because I don't want to be involved with tampering, So with that being said, though, I wish Dwyane Wade the best of luck in his ownership role with the Utah Jazz. Again, I wish the Utah Jazz the best of luck, and I'll pass it on to you, Nate.
Right, you basically covered everything. Best of luck to Dwyane Wade and Utah Jazz. I absolutely love how he's becoming active with the team. I absolutely love it. It's like you say, a lot of owners usually don't, usually aren't really involved in team activities. Now, I know Jerry Jones is Jerry Jones is very involved with the Dallas Cowboys. I mean, then again, not only is he the owner of the Dallas Cowboys, but a lot of people forget, and myself included, that he's also the general manager of the team too. He basically runs the entire Dallas Cowboys organization. I know David Tepper, the owner of the Carolina Panthers, he's relatively active with the team. So it's not really common that owners are involved with the moves going on with the organization. You know what I mean? It's not very common, but I love how Dwyane Wade is like, like, I don't want to be like these other owners. I actually want to help this team become better. I love that idea.
Right. Well, not owners in general, Nate. Like, just like part owners. You don't really see them.
Yeah.
Like, you see actual owners get involved. That's their team. They invested in it, so they want to make sure they get the best product out of it. With Dwyane, with part-time owners, sometimes they're not invested.
Yeah.
They just do it to own a part of the team, and then whatever happens.
They do it to get a good financial investment out of it. Yeah. So, but he actually, like, one thing about Dwyane Wade that I love is that he's taking that financial investment and actually doing something like that. Like, he's one of those guys, right? I want to own this team, and I'm getting money out of it, but I actually want to do something. Like, I actually want to hardly earn my money. You know what I mean? Like, that's something a lot of players, they own teams. So I absolutely love the idea because, with the knowledge they have and being former players, they can actually help out and actually, like, look into stats of other players and look into free agency and all that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? It's a really, really good idea. But a lot of the players, like you mentioned, they're not really, hardly invested in the team. So I'm glad that Dwyane Wade's taking a different approach to it and actually getting involved with player signings and front office executive signings and all that stuff. So with that being said, best of luck to D Wade with the Utah Jazz in the future. Best of luck to the Utah Jazz, and I'm very excited to see how this goes.